And so, what would you say is one of the biggest challenges in dating today?
I would say, oh, there's a lot. Let me think here. Let me brainstorm on this one. Well, it's men being men, people that
Mm.
people that know understand that their word is their bond.
Ooh.
Um Honesty
Mm.
and and not again and then, not being caught up in trying to present an image that's not true, because you're gonna, it's gonna come out eventually. And just, you know be yourself. I mean, really be yourself. I get it, when you first date, it's a little nerve-wracking. But I don't know, I just want someone to be them, be
No.
themselves. Yeah.
So it's amazing that you're asking men to be more upfront. And it's funny because as you go through that list of things, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, and these dudes aren't even getting their dick sucked. Like, I can't even believe that.
They're not.
Remember, you had guys hit you all the time saying that, like, how do I get my wife to have sex with me? How do I get my wife to
Oh,
suck my dick? And it's like, the
yeah.
the whole thing of this, and my opinion about dating in today's world, and from what I hear about women, is like men need to just be fucking men, and you can get whatever you want out of out of a situation because it's exchange. If you just be a man, be clear with your intentions, keep your word,
Hmm.
and and just have some shit going on. Like, it's really not that hard. And as you go through this list of just you just want men to be upfront, what men should be, right? All those things. Because when a man can be upfront and authentic, it opens up space for the woman to be comfortable to be herself. And these dudes fuck up it's like pissing on their own feet, you know? It's like if you could open up and just be a little bit more assertive, a woman would open back up, and then you could really get something accomplished for us. Even having a conversation. If I'm not getting my dick sucked, I'm going to have a conversation with my wife. I'm not going to ask another woman, how should I go about getting my dick sucked? I'm going to
Yeah.
talk to my woman about what's the issues of me not getting my dick sucked. And
Right.
we talked about this, but I'm saying that there's a lack of men understanding what accountability is, not
or
only
or
to
good
someone,
leadership.
to themselves, right? Good leadership to themselves first, then to someone else. Like, it's ridiculous.
I
And
would say if she's not sucking your dick, she doesn't trust you to be a good leader or her leader.
yes, 100%. I mean, that's evident,
Mm.
and that would make me as a man have to reflect on what the hell am I doing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you have to have one of those, and like, I don't know, maybe it's the Virgo in me. Like, as a lover, I would ask someone I'm dealing with, like, how do you feel? Every couple few months, like every a quarterly checkup, like, where we at? What do you think? Am I being boring to you? Am I not paying attention to you enough? Like, where do we stand? And that's in good and bad times. Like, where we at? I
Yeah.
just need to know what's on your mind. You know, um, I'm not perfect, but we all have different fluctuations on our schedule and our work lives and with kids and things. So maybe I'm not giving you the attention you need. How can we close that gap? It's not that hard, but people have to be ready to have conversation. And some of it is you're willing to ask, what the hell can I do better? It's okay. As a man, you want to come in first with, what can I do? Help. How can I help you to help me?
Yeah.
That's my thought process. So let me help you, and then in return, I get that back. But these people just they don't fucking get it.
Uh, like I said, it's just you got to be just not afraid to put it out there. It kind of shocks me how poor the communication can become between two people who somehow found their way to
Mhm.
getting married, going through
Mhm.
all that, right? That takes a lot of communication, probably having
Yes.
children, but they can't talk to each other. It's like, well, no, I can't talk to her about that. What?
Right.
Well,
That's ridiculous.
who can you talk to about that? If you
Yeah.
cannot talk to your own damn spouse about problems between the two of you, what the fuck are you doing? Who did you marry? Why did you choose this person?
Mhm.
The one thing that I think turns me off the most is when I hear men say, "Well, I mean, she's such a good, like they're unhappy or they're
Right.
like they're stepping out on her, and but they'll
Right.
say, "Well, but she's such a good mother." It's like I'm like,
Mhm.
"Do you really honestly think that your wife wants to feel like that's the only good quality you see in her? That's the when I ask, why did you marry this? Well, she's a really good, person. Okay. So
Mhm.
there's a lot of good people. There's not a lot. I mean, there's not a lot of straight up assholes, hopefully. And
Right.
okay, so what beyond that? Like, I mean, I think your wife wants to be desired, cared for, heard,
Mhm.
feel that
Mhm.
it's you and her against the world, that you're still in
Mhm.
line with each other's wants, needs, and desires, and
Mhm.
when did you, as the leader of this household, let that run itself off in the ditch?
So you know what happens, and I read this in a book called "The Science of" by uh, author by the name of John Baines, and he has a part in there, and he talks about this. I forget what part of it of the book it is. Please excuse me, but he
Mm.
talks about how men look for their mother and their wives, and this is how
Yeah.
they pedestalize their wives, and
Mhm.
so they don't see their wives as a whore or like they will. I'm sorry, they don't want to have sex with their wife like she's a slut or a whore. So they don't necessarily look at getting their dick sucks or freaky sex like
Yeah.
something they would like to do with their wives, and then they wonder why, things run amok. And then when you ask them, like, well, what kind of woman is she? They're like, well, she's a good mother. They start
Oh,
naming these and
like
angelic
they're talking about
qualities
their
about her.
mom. Like they're talking about their
Yeah,
mom.
they're talking about their mother because a lot of guys, your mother, or they've been raised to go get you a good girl and blah blah blah. But
Yeah.
a good girl can have a nasty sexual appetite. There's nothing wrong with that, because that's what's going to keep you wanting to come home. If your wife turns into your mother, of course you don't want to fuck her.
Well,
But
right.
that's what these guys have done. Or they turned their wife, because a lot of dudes be controlling. So a lot of times dudes turn their wives to their mothers and then say, okay, she's over here, and then I'm gonna just do that's set, like that's set in stone.
Yeah.
Family, I think it's set in stone. She can do that with or without my dick.
Yeah.
Or things are going so bad that she's just not attracted to me anymore. Like it's either or.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
it's sad. I've seen a lot of guys. Man, I actually know a dude that put up pictures of his wife, his mother and father, and I swore that was him and his wife.
Yeah.
Like back in the like pictures of his mother and his father together, like when they were in their 30s. And I
Yeah.
swore it was, and before I could say it, this girl right on the message before me said, that looked like your wife. And I was like, I'm glad you said it, because that but it's nasty. I
Yeah.
even sent that picture to a couple of my homies, like, look at this. And we were crying. I was like, there's no way I can marry a woman that looks like my mother.
Yeah, no wonder. No.
That is not that's not gonna work.
No, no. Yeah.
No,
I
no,
mean,
that's like,
you're going to
ew.
gravitate towards, women that share that n- I mean, share similar like things that you liked about your mom, good qualities. That's
Yes,
and then,
yeah,
these are the things you're going to take away as a child, right? And same
yes.
thing about, you're going to part of you is going to be has certain characteristics, of your dad. And
Mhm,
so there's
mhm,
just like there's that, but Yeah, I mean, just to go out, like I've seen it too. It's funny. I've seen my like some of my girlfriends, and I've teased a couple of them. You know, I'm like, you are like even just down to the body type. Like
Hmm.
you know, she always goes for men that they look the same body type, and as it ends up, they look like her dad. You know, and
Right. That's
it's so
crazy. Right.
yeah,
Shit
yeah,
is
and
crazy.
it's funny if you look at all of them. It's like they they have the same. They're very similar in the way they look, and that
Hmm.
look is that of her dad's, and it's like,
That's a little weird. It gets a
and
little weird.
she doesn't want it, but
Everybody has
she
their thing.
doesn't want really. She's not doesn't want to have that much sex with her husband. I'm always like, you gotta have sex with him. Fuck that poor guy. You
See?
know,
See?
he's working
But
hard.
deep in
He's a
her,
good provider, and she's like not that sexually interested. And it's just like she does it when he finally like chases her down and hassles her for it. You know what I mean? Like,
but you know what? That's okay. Yeah, and if you don't want to have sex like that, because everybody gets different as you get older, that's fine. Just be okay with him getting the level of sex that he needs.
well, no, that's the thing. Of course, that's off the table.
That's it. And
You
that's
know, of
bullshit.
course, that's off the
That's
table.
bullshit. That's
I think it's
bullshit. That's
bullshit
bullshit.
too. I think it's bullshit, and I've said, you know, in those instances, you know, you need to take care of him sexually because he's gonna go get it somewhere else. She's like, oh no, no,
Yeah.
no, no, and I'm like, oh my god, you
Yeah.
can't like when I
Yeah.
hear women say this kind of crazy
Yeah.
stupidity, I'm just like, you are begging for a problem, and you know, and
Workplace pussy is hearing how he's not getting fucked. And workplace
workplace pussy, yeah,
and workplace pussy will take him out to the car and suck his dick.
yeah.
Don't get it fucked up. Workplace pussy will help you out, boo, where you're falling apart. Trust me.
Whether you know it or not, yeah.
Whether you want to admit it or not. I
Oh
mean,
my,
listen,
yeah.
if I have a wife and I haven't fucked her in a year, months even, am I thinking that, and I'm not giving her the attention that she needs? What do I think she's doing? Do I think she's just gonna suffer? She's suffering in silence, but she ain't gonna just. She's not gonna not go get it. She's gonna find somebody's gonna. The right guy's gonna come around,
Mhm.
give her the right attention,
Yep.
and he's gonna have the right look and the right smell and everything, and she's gonna give him the pussy. It
Yep.
is what it is.
It is what
We're adults.
yeah.
We're adults. We have to embrace being adults and what that comes with.
Well, and then don't, and then, you know, but then she'll be the first, you know, like when it's the woman and then he cheats, she's the first one to vilify the guy, you know,
Right.
uh
Right.
after that scenario. I mean, again, you made your decision. You married
Right.
this person and you
Right.
are saying you're going to go the distance with them. That
Right.
means you need to be prepared to do whatever it takes to acquiesce and make compromises together.
Mhm.
So let's
Yes.
say, you know, and as you go along, the thing, you know, your sex drives, your sexual desire, even your the things that turn you
Mhm.
on sexually are going to change and evolve. And a lot of people,
Yes.
which doesn't make sense, they have not stayed the same in any way since
Mhm.
when they first met. They've grown and
Right.
evolved. I mean,
Right.
obviously basic things, but I'm talking about, you know, you as a human being grow and evolve. Why are you thinking that your sex life isn't going to grow and evolve? Somebody
Right.
wants different things that they didn't want when they were first getting married. You know, okay, so maybe your partner just doesn't feel that way. But guess what? That means you guys sit down, you talk about it, and you
Mhm.
negotiate what it's going
Right.
to take for each person to meet in the
Mhm.
middle and feel like nobody's taking it in the shorts, you know what I mean? Nobody's giving them too much, right? But that you're making
Right.
considerations for the other person.
Person. Right.
Hello? I just don't get why this is so fucking hard because the work that it takes to go out, have an affair, lie about it,
Mhm.
you know, do all
Mhm.
that maneuvering, all those
Mhm.
gyrations, you know,
Mhm.
is hide your apps on
It's
your
ridiculous.
phone, get, you know, get different numbers, burner phone. I mean, like,
right.
meet people,
It's too much.
coordinate that,
It's too much.
hope you don't get a
Too much.
disease. It's like,
Too
what?
much.
So you
Too
decided
much.
that plan B was way more effective, efficient, and better than trying to, work this out with the woman that, you say, but I love her. She's my soulmate. Well, fucking
Right.
prove it then. Oh my God. That one thing I heard a guy say that just that blew me away. He was like, I mean, she's my soulmate. I'm like, you cheat on her left, right, and
And,
center
and
by your
right.
own
Right.
admission. This is your
Right.
soulmate? Oh my God. If that's what a soulmate is, believe me, I don't fucking want one. I mean, what are you
Fir-
saying? That's how you
First
treat
of
your
all, what
soulmate?
man what man says soulmate? Like what man talks men do
I
not
don't.
talk about not
Men,
like that. Men do not talk
mm.
about relationships like, oh, that's my soulmate or we're a power couple. That's shit women made up.
I,
Men,
I don't know, but
mm,
that's what he said to me. Because again, I've, over the years, I've had, of course, married men reach out and they want to,
right,
they're either trying to hook up or they just want like advice or whatever. And, and I try to ask, of course I want to
right,
understand the situation. And I just, it's like, oh my God, you're an adult. I'm
right.
sorry you found yourself in this situation, but it's up to you as a man to fix it. And fixing it
Right.
doesn't mean sticking your dick in strange pussy or work pussy or whatever you want to, or hookup
Mhm.
pussy or whatever you want to call it.
Right. Right.
Unless now, hold on, unless you, I mean, again,
Mhm.
unless this is something you guys agree on, because that's a perfectly acceptable option. If you are discussing this and your wife says, you know, I maybe there's a medical reason she's not up for it
Mhm.
anymore or whatever.
Right.
But, you
Right.
know, she should, if she's denying him,
Mhm.
allow him to discreetly and carefully, in a way that they agree is safe for both of them, go out and
Mhm.
get his needs met.
So let me ask you a question.
Hmm.
I have another question for you. So this is part of my gumbo, and I'm gonna ask you a question that's a hot topic:
Okay.
narratophilia, which is the fetish of speaking
Oh,
and big erotic speaking. And so, how do you get? How do you go about dirty talk? Do you like dirty talk? Um, I think guys struggle there. And I tell guys like, don't look at porn and say shit that's important. Like maybe look at some they have these apps now where they have the erotic stories being said or get some poetry or something. Get something that you get some lines from. But that whole take it in the face kind of conversation is horrible. So what do you think? Do you like, I mean, I don't even know why I'm asking the curious girl shit like this.
I
But
think
anyway, I know you like dirty talk, but what kind of dirty talk do you like, and do you like talking dirty? Let's get that out.
okay, first of all, do I like talking dirty?
Yes,
Yes.
excellent.
I do. I love it. But the context has to be right.
Okay,
So I've had
okay.
times where, I'm with more of a casual partner and he jumps in with some talk that I'm like, what the no, you're kidding. No, ew, whoa, whoa, whoa. Wrong time, wrong place, wrong girl. Like, no, ew. Now
Right.
you just ruined it for me. I was trying to have an orgasm and you fucked with it with this
Mm,
stupid talk you got going on and you're killing the moment.
mm. Do they start talking like "I love you"? Is that what they say, or are
No,
they
no,
like
well,
like what,
it could, okay,
what
yes,
is it?
it could
Right.
be any, like I said, yes, it could be that in that context, or it
Okay.
could be, again, if it's not appropriate, it's with the wrong person, or if
Mhm.
it's too domineering, when
Okay.
that's not the nature of our relationship, even sexually, we can be as aggressive sexually as we want, but don't
Mhm.
try to start coming in with the, like you own me and my
Right.
pussy is your pussy and all that
All
shit. Cause
that.
it's like, you're overstepping, fucker.
Right. You haven't earned
Like,
that. Right.
it's not, this is not our dynamic. And it's okay to
Right,
say, it's okay to talk about if my pussy's dripping wet and it feels, really
right,
good, or it's tight and
right,
I love the way your pussy grips my
right,
cock. That's
right,
okay. But
right.
don't go to the extreme. You can't go, and then if you go too loving and it's not appropriate either, it's like, ew,
Ew. Right, ew. Right.
ew. No,
It's like, ew. Right.
Yeah. So
Okay.
there we go.
Okay. And so where would you suggest people, because you're right, it's about context, it's about feeling your partner out. But if you're like a person that's like, I'm not good with words, like what would you tell them to do to help them in that area? Where would
Yeah.
you direct them?
Well, we have this wonderful thing called the internet, and anytime I have a question, like I would even Google, like, you know, uh top dirtiest, sexiest things to say in the bedroom, right? And see what comes
Mm,
up. That'll kind of get you going. Like if you seriously don't
right,
know. I also love
right.
your idea about, again, there's so many podcasts out there, that do that read erotic stuff, erotic
Sure. Yeah.
stories. There's bloggers that write,
Mm-hmm.
eroticism. One of my favorites is Girl on the Net. I mean, she's just got
Mm,
10, I think 12 years worth of work, and she's an amazing writer, and the detail and the intricacy that she uses,
mm.
definitely you could you can steal a lot from that. A lot of motivation will come out of that, or
Oh my.
inspiration rather, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's just thinking about, where you can go to sort of get some of this dialogue. And
Right.
I wouldn't start out too raunchy. I would be, if you're talking like 1 to 10 on the raunchy scale, you might want to start out as a
Mhm.
4, or a
Right,
5. I think it's okay to
right.
use dick, cock, penis, or, well, not penis isn't erotic. I mean, pussy, cunt, whatever is that's sounding, then you're getting into the, oh, this is dirty talk, but you certainly don't want to tell her how your lovely vagina. I'm, like, I'm going to stick my erect penis in you and
Right,
stroke the
right.
inside of
No,
your vaginal walls until you
right,
come,
right. Yeah, no. Yeah, no.
until you achieve a climax. I know, it's like,
Oh my goodness
uh,
gracious.
no, 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 no. Yeah, you gotta arm yourself with a little bit of lingo, and it
Mhm.
goes a long way. Um, And even if you know what, and it's okay if you want to tell her she's beautiful, just put the word fucking in front of it.
Right.
You
I
know,
mean,
that
the
spices it
tip of the
up.
day.
You're so fucking
Tip of the
gorgeous. You're
day.
so fucking beautiful.
Tip of the day.
Fuck, I
Tip of the
think
day.
about you
Just put
all
it
the time, right? That makes it different than I think about you all the time. You'd
the
be like,
time.
oh,
Right,
wait, whoa,
right.
wait a minute, stop, stop,
Like,
stop.
right.
Yeah.
Uh, you say, I fucking think about you. I was like,
It's like, oh,
oh, you
hey
good?
now.
Oh,
Oh, I want to. Now all of a
hey.
sudden I'm perking up, and I'm like, oh yeah. Really? Jesus. Okay. This man's got
Oh
some
my
passion.
God.
He's feeling
Right,
it for
right,
me.
right, right. He's speaking with some conviction.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So let's go to, I have one more topic.
Okay.
How does a man get a woman on his page? How does a man get a woman in line? How can I get a woman in line?
Well,
I need to know. My men need to, my male
tell
audience
me
needs to
what
know.
you mean by in line. I want to be very clear on what it is you are trying to accomplish.
Well, whatever that said man is trying to accomplish, if he's trying to go from, let's just say, from Philadelphia to California, you would be able to tell him, So, how does a man? What are the basics of getting a woman in line with you? What would you say if you was a man you were dating?
What does in
Like
line
what?
mean? You have to, the number one thing is you have to be clear on what you want and need from her. So when you say in line, you have to clearly
Right.
define that for me. What does that mean?
All right. Cool. All right. So let's throw a hypothetical out there. Okay.
Okay.
So a man wants a woman who is going to be submissive to him and follow his direction.
Mhm.
But she's also uh I don't want to say alpha female, but she's also in a managerial position at work. So that brings on a different type of attitude that a woman to have. She's more assertive. So how does a man get a more assertive woman on his page?
Yeah.
Now she's used to making decisions. She's used to being a boss, but she has a feminine side. But how does he get her in line with him? How does a man get that woman to trust where he's going is best for her?
Yeah. Well, obviously, you know that that just doesn't happen
That's
overnight.
a tough question. It's just a tough question.
Yeah, well, that I mean, I can give you some insight. It obviously, you know, that doesn't happen overnight, and
Right.
that takes time and you know, and consistency over time on his part. And
Mm-hmm.
you also have to know, he also has to know that while she's, you know, the alpha in alpha mode, that she genuinely does want to come home and take that off. Because some
Right.
women eventually they will, but they may not, she may not be in that mindset just yet. You have to
Mm-hmm.
kind of, that's going to be a timing issue for her in her life, you know, where she finally realizes that um I love the way I feel by being in control and accomplishing things, and I had this great sense of self from that. But in a relationship, you know, I know that I want the man to lead because it's exhausting to be the leader all the time. And I love it's, you know, and it's sexy and it's hot to me when I know I can
Mm-hmm.
rely and count on a man and he's there for me. And conversely, like when she's on that level, she'll naturally kind of she's going to want to take care of you cuz
Mm-hmm.
she's going to want to reciprocate. So again, if you're budding, if you're trying to, if you're thinking there's a way to convince a woman that's not already predisposed to that,
Mm-hmm.
it's not going to happen. Like there's no magic for that. You just have
Right.
maybe it might just be the wrong timing. You can suggest
Mm.
it. You know, you can say
Okay.
you can start, you know, um so let's say, you know, make sure you're always doing the manly things. You're asking her out. You're being consistent. You know, you open her doors. These sound cliche, but these are the subtle
Mm-hmm.
things that women pick up on. Like in our lizard brains too. It's like, is this guy reliable? You know,
Right.
because it all kind of comes down to could I mix DNA with him? Even though
Right.
that's not the focus, but we're so wired for that as women that you
Mm.
know these subtle cues are coming in that tell us this man's a protector. He's reliable. He keeps his word. Um, I trust him. And once that starts to happen, she's gonna lighten up. She's gonna like let that armor down, and when she's
Mm-hmm.
around you because your energy is so much higher in that direction than hers, she's not even going to try to compete with it. And if you
Mm-hmm.
find that there's a woman you're with that's trying to compete with it, she's not either a ever going to get to that point and you're just spitting in the wind, or b it's not the right time.
Right.
She hasn't gotten exhausted enough of trying to be
Right.
her own boss and beating her head up
Right.
against the wall by trying to then be
Right.
the boss of the relationship. She
Right.
hasn't exhausted herself on that issue yet, but she will someday.
Right.
Yeah.
Or you're not the guy.
Well, but it's not like you're going to convert her. Like
Right.
I thought, you know, when I started being around men like that, I
Mm-hmm.
thought, oh, you know, it was never that they converted me. That was always there, ready for the right person to capitalize on.
Mm-hmm.
And it,
Okay.
do you see what I'm saying? Like, and I couldn't figure
Yes.
out that's because I was always struggling with like, why these nice guys that check all the boxes, like why these relationships aren't that like I can't. see myself like marrying this person, like settling down and or being, like
Right.
serious with them. Cause it's like, it's great.
Right.
It's like being with your best friend. Everyone says, oh, I want to
Right.
marry my best friend. If you want to be bored for the rest of your
No.
life, maybe. I
Ugh.
don't know that I want to
Right.
put that label on I have a
Right.
female best friend. Do you know what I'm saying? Yes,
Right.
of course I want to have this amazing friendship and partnership
Right.
with a man. That in and
Yes.
of
Right.
itself is great. But
Right.
don't try to feminize him and be his
Right.
leader. And I think women, we do get a little confused, and we start, and then almost you're infantilizing your partner, which is a big turn off. And then no wonder you don't want to have sex with them and things like that. Like and you won't let him be a man. He's a grown ass man. Let him
Yeah,
be a
man.
man. If he can't do it,
Exactly.
you're going to be exhausted with him if you're going to do that for the rest of your life. So, you
Right.
have to kind of have a woman that already has an inkling of that, and then like I said, you
Mhm.
can swoop in and capitalize on it.
So, guys, there you go. You have to have a woman who has an inkling of what it is to be able to fall in line with the right man. But those signs are there. You just have to be able to know if she's at the point where she's ready for it or she's still in the battlefield
Yep. Yeah.
trying to romp it out.
I mean, no joke.
So,
I had that happen to me, in my 20s with some guys who were like, they're like, I want to get married, and you're not ready, and you're not willing
right,
to. And at the time, I didn't even really I'm like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? It was like boyfriends I'd had, and they're like, I want to get married, and you're
right,
not ready, and you're not ready to be someone's wife and partner. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like,
talking
and
about.
but they were right. They were dead on. Like,
Right,
no,
right,
I wasn't. Oh my God. I didn't
right,
appreciate them for what they brought to the
right,
table as a man.
right,
It's
right,
just, so you can't spit in the wind. I mean, you've got to,
right.
the right, somebody that's already of that mindset is there,
Hmm.
and it's
Right.
great when
Well,
here's the tip I'll give you. Last thing,
okay.
find a woman who's right on the cusp of that. Because if she hasn't ever experienced it, the minute she gets it from you, woo! Oh, you're it. You are going to be it. So be careful. Be careful, because yeah, you're going to be that one. She's just going to be like, "Oh yes, I have found him. He has come."
And then he parted the sea.
Yes, that's right. He's been delivered to me.
He's been delivered.
Yeah,
All right, so I have one last one, and we
sure.
talked about this before, but I have one last topic. This is going to take us home.
Okay.
Toxic masculinity. I just talked about this the other night,
Okay.
but let's just talk about a little bit about toxic masculinity. And to update my audience, Curious Girl and I have talked ad nauseum about the new voices of men that's been going up and this whole gender war that we see going on. Um, is it toxic masculinity that is forcing the issue, or where do you see us at right now? So I'm going all the way back. I guess I'm bringing it all full circle with the dating world and all that. Where does toxic masculinity fall in? Is toxic masculinity ramping up or is it dissipating?
I think it's probably still, I mean, it might be leveling off, but it's, slowly might start to, it might be tapering, but I think it has been escalating over time. And I think it's out of,
Mhm,
some of it's valid. I think it's out of men's kind of sheer frustration. And,
mhm,
but, I think that you can still find a good match. I don't think it's as hard as it's been portrayed. Um,
Right.
I really don't. I don't know that I buy into all that hoopla. I think it's
Right.
there. I think it's an issue, but I don't think that it's worth men really selling themselves on the idea that, you know, women are being super unrealistic and women, don't know how to treat a man and you know, um I, again, I think I'm not saying that's not that there aren't groups and pockets of that.
Hmm.
A lot of it's the way people were raised. I mean, there's a lot of different societal issues that our grandparents didn't have, and things have changed and
Right.
evolved. But ultimately, you know, we still only have each other, and people still want those needs met. And
Yes.
when a man, if a man's saying that there's no good women out there, they can't, or maybe women are saying that, it's like, it doesn't actually matter who's saying it. I just challenge that and say, well, where the fuck are you fishing? Where are you looking? Who are you? What
Right.
circles are you hanging out in?
Mhm.
I have no doubt that it's out there. And if you keep, but if you keep drawing that to yourself, the
Mhm.
common denominator is you. So you're not going to change all these other people. You have to work on yourself and put yourself in the right scenario and situations to attract the kind of person you're looking for. Because I have no doubt
Mhm.
that they can do it, and it's out there. Um, and I just don't think it's like, I don't think it has to turn into this big male female battle. I don't
Right.
see it as that serious.
I think we need to get back into doing oh man, etiquette classes. Remember, like years ago,
Yes.
women used to be sent for etiquette classes, right? But I think we need etiquette
Mhm.
classes for males and
Well,
females, an
it was called
updated
it was
version.
called home economics. Guess what? You learned about
Wow.
cooking. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I hope I'm not dating
Home
myself, but you know
economics.
what? We had home ec.
Yeah.
I'm sure it depends on what
Yeah,
part.
I had home ec.
We had home ec
I had home ec. I
home
love
ec
home ec.
in junior high,
Yes.
and
Yes.
manners and
Yes.
I mean, there are some strange things going on. I mean, I've talked like the first thing, it's like when people don't even care about speaking properly, the English language, respecting it,
Mhm.
punctuating their
Mhm.
sentences properly.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
you can't be bothered to start your sentence with a capital and end it with a period.
Right.
Let me
Right.
tell you something. Uh, Whether it's a man or a woman, if you're not in that boat, you might be dealing with someone that's to me says lazy. So that's
Right.
going to show up in other areas. And do you want
Areas.
somebody
Right.
that's lazy in your relationship? No. So
No. Right.
there's little things I think you can kind of look for, but for sure. Yes. I mean, oh my God. Yes, like my grandma had a big influence on me. So like as progressive as I am, I have this big conservative side. And
Mhm.
I think women should protect that conservative, um, you know, ladies lady, I guess if you want to call
Right.
it, in them.
Right.
Like the way they're get a little bit more in touch with the way the way your grandmother presented
Mhm.
herself and
Mhm.
walked around and carried herself in the world. Adopt some of
Mhm.
those things, some of those
Mhm.
politeness, and you kept
Mhm.
good company and you dressed
Mhm.
nicely, and
Mhm.
just the manners that went
Mhm.
along with that. Men like that. I
Mhm.
don't care.
Yes.
I don't care. You could take a guy that loves the raunchiest, nastiest, dirtiest little whatevers and put a beautiful lady, and I use that word lady. I
Mhm.
know it's old fashioned. Put a
Mhm.
beautiful lady
Mhm.
in front of him
Mhm.
who
Mhm.
is poised and
Mm-hmm.
together,
Mm-hmm.
but she still has is but she still exudes sex appeal. Let me tell you, he's gonna be beelining it for her rather than some, hoochie mama slut that he can just stick it
Mm-hmm.
in really fast. So
Yes.
so I mean, I don't know. I just think everybody, the onus is on everybody, each individual person to put their
Yes.
best foot forward and realize you're going to attract, if you're attracting fools, maybe you're acting a fool. I mean, like
Right.
you
Right.
know,
Right.
you
It's mirror reflections. You can only attract what you are.
you have to sort of you have to sort of think about that. I mean, I interviewed uh for another podcast today. It's Strictly Anonymous, really good podcast. The gal
Okay.
reads these stories, people send them in, and she was kind of asking me about, well, how did you find all these guys to do all this fun stuff with, and like to go on these adventure, sexual adventures, and I said,
Right.
because that's what I put out there. I said, this is what I want. I was clear about what I wanted. I wanted to
Right.
meet guys. I had this bucket list. I wanted to knock all this fun, sexy stuff off on my bucket list. I wanted someone
Right.
to do that stuff with me. And I wasn't expecting them to be the end all be all. It's like, if we can be friends and have a good physical attraction, and you're down for helping me knock some of this stuff off your list, off my list, because maybe it's on yours too, then we're going to have a
Right.
lot of fun.
Right.
And when you're open and honest with people, and you lead with that, guess what? You draw that kind of person to you.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes. Yes.
that's the thing. And now
That's
that
it.
sometimes you trip over some ding dongs. That's going to happen,
Right.
but
Right.
it won't
That's all
be.
part of the process.
Yeah. It won't be. They'll be obvious because most of what you're
Mhm.
bringing in is quality, and so it's really
Right.
easy to sift and sort.
So who's not?
Get
Mhm.
rid of those guys, the low hanging fruit.
Yeah. Yeah. And right. And that's the point. Like when you have somebody that's not a good fit, don't keep them around.
Right.
Move on. Because
Yeah,
then you'll look up three
that's
months down the line like, damn, why am I
I
still
know.
dealing with this nutty stuff?
With this person. I know. And that's the other thing is, you people hang on to, which is sad, they hang on to the wrong one,
Right.
and get stuck in the wrong circumstance because they don't want to, they're, I guess, afraid of being alone or whatever. You have to let go of what's not working in order to,
Mhm.
make room and bring in what is going to work. And,
Right.
um, it's tough, but it's also tough spending the rest of your life with the wrong person. So you got to kind of
Right.
choose your tough, you know?
Right. Okay, well, thank you so much. And before I let you go, I want to talk about. I want to talk about this masturbation March Madness going on. What
Yes.
is this going
Oh my
on?
God.
What is this? What is this? What is this initiative?
Don't
What
you
is this
notice?
challenge?
Don't you notice like
What,
I'm just kind of like peppy and
you are glowing. You are glowing.
I don't have any
And
makeup
we had
on. I don't have any makeup on. This is my like orgasmic glow
right.
here.
Yes, you're glowing. I
I don't
love
have any
it. I
makeup on.
love it.
It's just me, just
It's
happy.
So what is it? So what is this masturbation madness?
March Masturbation Madness Month. It's really easy. You just commit to masturbating every day in March. And if you start late, you could just carry over. It's 31 days basically. So let's just say you masturbate every day for 31 days. I just did a podcast today that comes out tomorrow, talks about my first week's results.
Okay.
Um I can tell you, this is why people that say they're in sexless marriages and that don't have a sex drive, it's just because they don't put anything into it. That's why. At the
Oh,
end of one week, I always pretty much on and usually pretty horny. But sex begets sex. Orgasms beget orgasms. I've been trying different techniques and yep, different techniques. And I've got two new toys that I've been using and they're really
Okay.
good. So, but I'm just this first week, I did like the very kind of kept it really simple. No, it didn't penetrate myself, no penetration.
Okay.
And it just, so it's all external. But I did kind of like I was getting aware of just extra sensations, just kind of while I'm masturbating, touching myself in different parts of my body, my
Hmm.
nipples, just
Hmm.
usually, how you're not really being sensual about it.
Right.
So I've been
Right.
intentional and also just working on like my breathing. And
Okay.
I've been real how you can there's different places you can kind of touch and you always have like these go-to
Hmm.
ways of doing it.
Right. Right.
And what I've done is I'm actually masturbating as if I was a mediocre lover. So I'm pretending like it's a
Oh,
mediocre lover and I'm training
wow.
myself to be able to come under those circumstances, like when they're not giving quite enough pressure. Like, how am I going to overcome
Right.
this? How am I going to get past this? What can I do with my body to
Wow.
still
So
achieve
it's
the orgasm?
more than right. So it's more than just masturbating to masturbate. It is actually just getting more in touch with yourself.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, no, there's a purpose. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And
I like when you said intentional because that makes
intentional.
it that for men that's like, oh, okay, that makes it a little bit better because men is just
I know. It's very
sometimes,
mechanical,
you
right?
know.
It's very
It's
mechanical.
very it can be because I don't know if we're going to sit there and really touch on ourselves in that way,
Yeah.
other than touching our penis and visualizing some stuff or watching some porn. I don't know if I
Well,
mean
you
maybe
can
there are
try.
some men that do.
Well, here's the
I'm thinking
thing.
this might be some men that do. They
If you
won't
have
admit it.
if you have if you have 31 days, you can just try different things,
Right,
right? And this is about again, the Curious Girl is about experimenting and being open-minded. Because when you
right,
do that, you will find something
right.
guaranteed
You will find
more,
something. Right,
that
right.
you didn't know you liked or that you know, when we all stay stuck in our routines, well, nothing changes.
Yes.
So, even, you can get very stuck in your masturbation routine, and how you always do it a certain
Hmm.
way. And so,
Hmm.
yeah, so I'm just changing it up. And it's interesting how doing it these subtle different ways. And I've also, what I've done, the one thing I did this last week was I really put like the focus like just right directly on my clit, nowhere else. And I kind of like pulled the hood back. So you don't have that extra
Okay.
layer of so what'll happen is a lot of
Okay.
times you get oversensitive. That's like it's hard like
Right.
when when someone's like it's too sensitive, but
Right.
but the thing is you can actually push past that if you kind
I
of
was about to say you drive past that point.
focus and breathe. You can, because a lot of times you feel like, have you ever felt like it's too you're oversensitized and you
Right.
can't come because
Right.
of that? Okay.
Right.
So so a lot of times guys will do that. They don't understand. And it's just because they just don't understand how much pressure they don't have a clit. And same thing for women, I'm sure,
Right.
because we don't have a penis, right? We don't know.
Right.
But so like I said, I'm just trying to see like, okay, when I'm in that circumstance and he's putting too much pressure on, can I still find a way to come and have it
Right.
be enjoyable? And the answer is yes.
There it is, everybody. And so, can you tell my audience how they can track this progress
Yes.
of these 31 days and
Yes.
how they can listen to your content, which I'm very proud of, your successes with podcasting. I'm very happy to hear your numbers are going up, not only here in America, but across the world. And I love it. I'm happy to be your friend
Oh,
and part of it and part of this journey with you.
I'm
It's been awesome.
I know. That's been the coolest
Yeah.
thing. I mean, we met
Yeah.
so long ago and
Mhm.
look at how much has gone on over that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
I have my own podcast now, and I'm on YouTube, so, it's
I
like, you
know.
you got me started, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you got me started.
Yep. So anybody, I keep it real simple, for everyone that wants to find me. Best place to go is my website. Just go to thecuriousgirldiaries.com and click on if you want to leave me a voicemail. I love voicemails. I'm all about voice. If you want to give me any feedback, ask me any questions, you can click on the pink tab on the right hand side and you can leave me a voicemail for up to 5 minutes. Just let it rip and I get back to you personally. So that's a lot of fun. And if you want to follow me on social media, when you get to the website, just scroll down at the bottom. All my links are there. You can click through, follow me. And on my website, of course, is the podcast, The Curious Girl Diaries, but that's also available on any major podcast syndicator that you listen to. Just type in The Curious Girl Diaries.
And you guys know where you can reach me, Sir INQ, on everything. I Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Sir. If you want to email me, sirinq09@gmail.com. You can always go to sirinq.com and check out the website for resources, uh, apparel, things of that nature. And you can always check out the community on kingspace.net. I appreciate you guys for listening. Until next time.
Bye.